What's up YouTube, it's Dean Charles Anthony II back again with another video, and today we're going to be doing a review. Y'all saw the unboxing, it's time for the review of the Canon 28-70 f2 lens. So we got a couple of things to talk about. Alright, so recently I went on a trip to the Emirates. So I was in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and I had my 28-70, and I was like, is there really a better place for me to go and do a review of this lens? So I took it with me. So just a little bit of a disclaimer. I know it said probably Dubai or something on my on the title card and all that jazz. All the pictures are from Abu Dhabi. While we were out there, we found out that a few places I couldn't bring, particularly this lens. It was too big. It looked quote unquote professional. We know it's a professional lens, but I couldn't talk them into letting me bring it into a couple other places that I wanted to take pictures on. So this is a full day tour in Abu Dhabi that I had the opportunity to take pictures of it, take pictures with this lens in a lot of different places, in a lot of different low light situations and very, very bright situations. So to start off, here are a couple of images from the shoot. Alright, so cool. As you can see, I had a lot of fun taking pictures on this trip. But we're going to talk about some pros and cons of the Canon 28-70. So the most obvious con of the 28-70, especially when you're comparing it to a 24-70, is the loss of those 4mm. So while we were shooting, you know, for the most part, 9 out of 10 times, like, it's wide enough, right? It'll get the job done. But there was times that I was actually missing those 24mm, especially when I was inside. Here's an example right here. It's a picture of while we were in the palace, a dome, like a dome cap, and I couldn't actually get wider without actually getting on the ground or somewhat disrespecting the environment. So, you know, I kind of wish I could have went just a little bit wider right there. But that 24 will be felt. Now, for me personally, let me also just mention, right, most times if I really want to go wide, I'm gonna go 16-35, not 24-70. So that is something just to keep in mind. A 16-35 is to me a better landscape type lens than the 24-70 or this 28-70. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. If you like being closer to 20 this and you're looking for something wide angle, this lens may not be the lens for you. So con number 2, the weight. This is a heavy lens. You're gonna feel it throughout the day. Honestly, I don't even suggest that you have this lens if you don't have the battery grip for your camera or for your camera in general, particularly the R5 or the R6, because it is a very front heavy lens and you kind of need something to kind of balance it. I actually felt more comfortable with it with a flash on than I did with the flash and the battery grip, just kind of to balance it out just a little bit, versus just having it just on the camera as regular. So it is a very weighted lens, and I don't feel like it's very well proportionally weighted, like it's just all this weight on the front, versus a 70-200 that's kind of like it's distributed a little bit better, I think, but you feel the weight on this lens a lot more on your camera. So con number 3, we're gonna go with price. The price of this lens is actually pretty high, right? Yeah, you can get a lot. You can get another camera for the price of this lens. That's the thing. If you are interested in this lens, this is something that you're kind of committed to. So you're probably a little bit more prepared for the price. But that is something to really weigh. Is it really worth spending that extra money when you could get a 24-70, when you could get a 24-105, when you have other options, when you can get a whole nother camera? So that's something to think about, especially if you're interested in this lens. But that price, that is definitely a con. So con number 4. There's no lens stabilization in it. Now, this is the part that kind of sucks when you think about the price of this lens, the size of this lens, everything. It's probably gonna cause more shake than anything, and for there not to be image stabilization or lens stabilization, y'all know what I'm talking about, in this actual lens, it kind of sucks for price and for size. That would have been something that would have just probably like made it the perfect lens in some aspects. But you know, at the end of the day, like as a photographer, you got to have the skills to make sure that you get the good image. But it is beneficial when you do have these things already in your lenses, and for it to not have it, especially be an L lens, to especially be such a high price lens, that's probably one of the bigger cons for me. So moving forward, we're gonna talk about some pros. First pro, autofocus. If you watched the last few videos, you know, part of the reason why I was thinking about switching out my Tamron 24-70 here, actually this is right here, is because with the jump to the RF lens, it's kind of had some struggles focusing a lot more than my other EF lenses that are more Canon, branded lenses. And so I just felt like it was time to move forward to get something that just flowed a little bit better with the system. So the autofocus was amazing. I had very little issue autofocusing with this lens. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Very little issue, especially with the environments that we're in. It was very high. There was a lot of light a lot of times. It was very bright or it was very dark in the spaces, and the camera was focusing great, and it was just sticking. So it was really great. Pro number 2, the f-stop is 2, right? That is really amazing. I understand why people were calling this one the prime quote-unquote killer. It's not. This is not. If you're looking for primes, like f4 still looks very, f2 or f4 still looks very different from an f2. But if you were looking for something that was very similar, right? Very similar to a prime, but gave you a wider range. Yeah, I don't think anything is going to be any better than this. Being able to stop down to f2 just opens up a lot of opportunities for you as a photographer, especially if you're a person like me who shoots primarily with zooms. Being able to add more light to low light situations, to be able to not have to adjust your ISO or adjust your shutter speed, but just stick to where you're at and still get that beautiful creamy background blurred out is a really amazing thing. So having like this lens, right, this kind of a staple lens, because it's still in that 24-70, even though it's a 28-70, it's really still branded for that 24-70 range, to be able to stop down. Anyone who's used the 24-70 or anything that's 2.8 is going to truly appreciate that, because it just makes you more flexible as a photographer, and you know, it just adds to the range of what this lens has to offer. Number 3 for pros, it has a lot of character and versatility. There's just really nothing out there like it, and while you're shooting with it, you can kind of tell that there's nothing else like it. All right, so it feels like you're getting the best of both worlds, almost prime, but it still is a zoom lens, right? And having that feel in your camera, with your camera attached to this lens, is just something that's kind of like blissful. The images came out great, focusing was fine, but it's something about being able to be at f2 with this range that just makes the picture just look slightly different. And now it feels slightly different, not even look, but feels slightly different, and just opens up like the new capabilities as a photographer. Even with the restraints of it not being able to actually go to 24mm, right? So that means now, like, you gotta similar to a prime, right? You gotta use your feet to reshape or to recompose that picture, right? But it has the 70 that 70 aspect, so you're getting a little bit of compression, but you're also shooting at f2, so that compression at f2 is it's something that's just cool to play with. It's something that's cool to kind of like to expand your photography ideas with. It just encouraged creativity for me, and I've enjoyed shooting with it over the last month. And I think one of the biggest things is this lens will probably be my main lens. Normally it would be my 50mm, because that is one of the most versatile lenses that you can have, right? But because this is one in this range, and I'm able to get that f2, which f2 for me as a photographer is usually what I'm shooting at anyway. That f2 to f2.2, I believe, is really my range of where I'm shooting at. To have that when all this right here is absolutely amazing. It just has a lot of character, it has versatility, and it's a lens that it's fun to have in your bag. And that's gonna be my 3rd pro, and I know it's an opinion, but it is a 3rd pro. All right, so in conclusion, what do I feel about this lens? So this is a lens I'm really happy about. I'm happy I got it. Like I said before in a different video, this is the lens that I was eyeing, that was like, let me go ahead and start getting into this RF world, right? And to get this Canon R5, R6, or whatever I was gonna get at the time, right? But if I'm being completely honest, if you're not a professional photographer that's looking for a unique experience, looking kind of like to push push things just a little further, or a photographer that has a lot of low light situations for events X, Y, and Z, I actually probably wouldn't suggest you get this lens. I know you like it so much, then why wouldn't you suggest I get it? Because to be honest with you, you don't really need it. This isn't a necessary lens to buy, just being honest with you. You can get a 24-70. Canon has an RF mount, 24-70. So you could probably save some money. I believe you're gonna save some money. Save some money. You could get some other accessories for your camera. You can invest into advertisement for your camera, X, Y, and Z. There's a lot of things that you could do with what you would get left over from this lens. And probably, I'm pretty sure that the other 24-70 actually has image bodies, lens stabilization in it, right? So now you're even getting a more capable situation with your camera body and your lens actually both being stabilized. So I wouldn't suggest this for 99% of people. You don't need it. And just even to have the extra 24mm of range is you know, it's a benefit. You can go a little wider. Like I said, normally I would jump to the 16 to 35 anyway, but having those extra 4mm, especially if you're in a situation where you can't switch out lenses or something like that, or you only have one body with you, it has its benefits with it. So who's this lens for? This lens is for the photographer who has been a photographer for a while and is trying to add something to their kit, add something different to their kit overall. But two, is someone who just wants it. Like, this is a lens that you get because you want, not because you need. If you need to upgrade, you get a 24-70. If you want something different, you get the 28-70. That's just how it works. And that's just being honest, right? So I can't honestly say go out here and spend your money on this 28-70 when there's a quality 24-70 out there. But if you're looking for something different, if the extra stops of light with it being an f2 is beneficial to you, go with that, right? Go with it. If weight is an issue, don't go with this. If you don't mind the weight, you know, consider it. But just being honest with you, it's a great lens. It's not a lens for everybody. No one should be just fighting over trying to get this lens. But if you're in a position to upgrade, if you're in a position where you want to see something different, then go ahead and get it. Well, I hope you like this video, everybody. Appreciate y'all. I'm back. Boom, boom, boom. I see my Ant Pig t-shirt on here. But I appreciate y'all. Please like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what you think. If you have this lens, if you're thinking about buying it, make sure you comment in the comment below. But I appreciate y'all. I'm grateful to you. You have a great day. It's Dean Charles Anthony II, and I'm out.